one example of this path of wind principle and sending messages on the wind is one of the trail walkers was making a bull roar, which is that thing that you whip around the air and it vibrates and it makes this sound. And the young walker became intrigued with this tool, this instrument, and asked about it. And the trail walker said, "This is a bull roar, and so many cultures around the world that have nothing to do with each other have invented this, have discovered this, and created this instrument." And he talked about how maybe the most famous one is the Aboriginals in Australia. And he talked about how they use that to send messages. And when you make the bull roar, you sort of endow the instrument with the intents that are on your heart. And so when you send those messages, when you use that, you send these messages on the wind. And the young walker decided that he wanted to make one. And he wanted to send this message to his mother, who was thousands of miles away. And he makes this bull roar, and by the next week, he sees the same trail walker, and he follows up with him how it's going. "I want to show you this instrument that I made." And he makes this totally functional bull roar, right? And tell me about this story. How did you finish it, and how did that go? And he said, "I just finished it yesterday, and I used it, and it actually worked. So what are the messages that you wanted to send?" And he talked about his mother and how he missed his mom. And he wanted to send these messages to her, but he couldn't really convey those things from his heart through his letters. It was very difficult for him. And he said, "Last night I had this dream about my mom. I dreamed that she came to visit me, and that she was high above, and we were sleeping under this giant sycamore here in camp, and she descended close, but not super close, but I knew that she was there, and she knew that I was there, and then she just went away." So he receives this letter from his mom, and in this letter, this mom says, "I had this weirdest dream the other night." And in her letter, she describes, it sounds like made up, like from a movie or something, but it's too close to be made up. I don't think anybody would dare to make up something like that. But this mom described having this dream. And in this dream, she was whisked away to the Tonto National Forest. And she describes the weirdness of it, how there was this desert place, and there was this one sycamore tree, and there was a group of homeless-looking children sleeping under this sycamore tree, and she knew, you know how you know things in dreams, she just knew that one of those little shapes was her son. And she just was able to express that love and that comfort through that, which ended up being a very sacred experience for both of them. So that is one way that we send our messages on the wind. I think a much more common way that we send our messages on the wind is we have things that we need from other people. And somehow that message gets out. And one of the keys to have that loop working is how receptive the receiver is to those messages, and how attentive we can be to hear those messages on the wind, not just sending them out, but how we can listen. Listening is such a big part of the path of wind.